Hello, I'm Jomika, and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program. This is episode 7, I believe. Last time, we took this contract to get us some extra cash, and that is putting a satellite in a specific orbit around Kerbin. And we have another one here that I saw. Yep, thank you. It looks like it's about the same orbit. So let's go ahead and check out the tracking center. I think this is the one we have accepted. And this is the one that was added. So I think what we're going to do is do both in one mission. So I'm going to go ahead and accept that. It should double our money that we're going to get. We won't have to spend as much sending up a separate rocket. And we can save some money that way. So I'm going to go ahead and accept that. We do now have both position satellite in orbit. We should both see both of them in here. I guess it doesn't really show if they're accepted or not, but those are the two. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and build a rocket that has both satellites attached to it. And we can go ahead and send both of those up at the same time. Just to make sure, we only need to have an unmanned probe that has an antenna and can generate power. Unmanned probe that has an antenna and can generate power. So we can make the exact same ship or satellite for both of those. And we won't have any issues. So I'm going to go ahead and send those, well, not send them up yet. I'm going to go ahead and build it. And then we can send it up together. One very important thing I forgot, we have all this research, and to make our satellites a little bit easier, we're going to unlock this one for the Ant and the Spark. This one has better vacuum ISP, but just barely. And this one is way smaller than the other. So I'm not sure which one of these is going to work better. We'll test that out. And then we also have this small Oscar B fuel tank. It doesn't hold very much, but we're going to be building such a small satellite that it really doesn't matter. We don't need a lot of fuel. And then we also want to get some sort of fairings. So we're going to go with that one. But in order to get that, we need to unlock this stage. This cabin crew will help with tourists eventually. I'm sure we can build something with that. But we're really after the Airstream protective shell here. So we'll go ahead and get that one too. And while we're in here, we might as well take a look, see if there's anything else we need. We probably don't need any of that yet. We're not going to be building any space planes. We don't need the landing gear as of now. And I don't think we need the stack decoupler. Is this one smaller? What size is that? I guess we can get it anyways. Do we need these? The skipper and the poodle. Poodle's pretty heavy. It's got good ISP. But I don't think we need that yet. We'll go ahead and unlock that just in case the separator is pretty light. We can use that to hold our two satellites together. I would like to unlock this here to get some better antennas, and I guess that's it. Maybe the Probodobdyne command module, and even the advanced electronics here. But we definitely don't have enough money to unlock the research, so I'm just going to go ahead and build the satellites, and then we can launch them together. Okay, here is our two satellites. They should be exactly the same, just kind of reversed. We got the core here. We got a thermometer just for science. We really won't need much science from these, just something, because I know eventually they're going to want us to send science from space. We have the relay antenna, which is kind of going to help us with our satellite communication network, and it's also going to help us complete the mission. We need it along with the solar panels, and we have the same thing here but reversed, and then it is sitting on top of a bunch of explosives, and we're going to control those explosives, send it up into space, and we can go ahead and put these in the correct orbit. So make sure we save that, and here's all the delta V here. This should be enough to get us above 70K, and that is just the thumpers here. And then we have the swivel here, which is going to help us control kind of where we're steering, and then also should circularize our orbit and hopefully get us pretty close to where we need to be. And then we have plenty of delta V in each one of these, about 1800 I think it was. So that should be able to kind of finish our orbit and get us in the correct positioning for what the contract wants. So we are going to go ahead and launch both of these into space. I will go ahead and get us into orbit, and then we can kind of go from there. Alright, so we are in orbit. Our periapsis is 94K, and our apoapsis is right at the moon. It looks like we're going to have an encounter with the moon, but that is where one of our orbits are. So what we're going to do is quick save first, and we are going to go ahead and we're going to fast forward all the way up to around here, and then once we get to the apoapsis, we are going to kind of retrograde burn to bring our orbit back under Kerbin's atmosphere. And then, once we're under that, we're going to go ahead and ditch this stage. We want this stage to kind of burn up. We don't need it hanging around in space. I don't like the extra orbit lines that we don't need. And then we can go ahead and send these two into their respective orbits. One will go right around here, and the other one will go a little bit further past the moon. So why don't we go ahead and fast forward a bit, and since this is an unmanned probe, we're going to make sure, or we're going to have to do all of our burns in range of the Space Center. This little, whatever I made up here, I don't actually see it on the map anymore. Actually, it's right there. But it really isn't working. So I'm assuming that we should be able to... Oh, we are connected to it right now. Yeah, I'm not sure. But we'll go ahead and get way out here. I haven't been able to connect to that one yet, but maybe it's just because it doesn't have its own connection to the KSC. I don't know. But I think what we're going to do is wait for Kerbin to kind of rotate around one more time, and we'll be pretty close to the apoapsis at that point. So let's go ahead and fast forward a little bit more, because we're going to lose connection right around here any second now. Yep, there we go. We lost connection, and we're going to start coming back down towards Kerbin. But actually right at the apoapsis, we got a connection again. So we're going to go ahead and use the Smart ASS, and we're going to go retrograde towards Kerbin, and then we're just going to bring our periapsis down. We are already facing that direction, so we don't really have to give any juice at all. We are already where we need to be. So we're going to leave that just like that. We're going to point prograde again. That way, when we release these two satellites, we are not facing the debris that we just decoupled from. That is going to take a very long time. I guess what we can do is just go ahead and do it right now, because we'll be okay. Not too worried about it. So what we'll do is we'll decouple from here, and this guy is good. So now we are going to face prograde. You should be facing, yeah, we're okay there. So we're going to throttle up, and then we're going to have the stage, but we're going to go to the map. I guess we could do it from here a little bit. All right, so we are at 100 kilometers on the other side. I'm going to come over here and just watch the map, and we're going to see where this brings us. We probably will have a moon encounter that's going to get us like right where we need it. Yeah, why don't we do that? That'll save us some fuel. We just need to make sure that we're not actually on a collision course with the moon. So we'll focus that view. Yeah, we got a slingshot right around it, so we're okay there. And we'll hit the brackets to kind of switch us to the other vessel. We'll decouple here, and then we'll do the same thing. We'll point prograde. Let's try not to hit this. Barely dodged that. And we'll do the same thing here. This one is going to be the lower orbit of the two. So we're not going to really worry too much about an encounter with the moon, because we are already at basically where we need to be on the red line. So we just need to bring this periapsis way out to here, and then that one should be done. As long as we don't run out of delta V. We can slingshot ourselves off into space if we wanted. Definitely don't need that. So we'll just patiently wait until we bring this periapsis way up. Let's go ahead and speed this up a little bit, because I don't feel like waiting. Alright, there we go. And that one should be just about ready. We're going to wait until the ascending node, and then we can bring up. It's really hard to see with all these lines, but basically it's going across here. We want to adjust that orbit so it's a little bit higher over here and kind of skewed from the equator of Kerbin. So we'll go ahead and quick save again, and then we'll kind of time warp a little bit until we get to the ascending node here. And right about here. So the ascending node, I'm not sure which direction on normal it is. So we'll just try this real quick, see if it moves. That is pushing it down, so we want to go anti-normal. I guess that could be also called weird. But we'll go ahead and bring this up there, and we are in the correct orbit, at least close enough. And we could go ahead and wait for the 10 seconds of stability. And there we go, contract complete. We got $86,000 from that. Can go ahead and trash that one. And what we're going to do is switch over to this guy. Make sure that you are getting the proper sunlight, which you are. Your charge should be okay. Yep, full charge. And we're going to go ahead and wait until you come in contact with the moon. Not actual contact, because we don't want that, but gravity assist. So we'll go ahead and speed this along, come back out. We should be coming pretty close to the moon here, and that's going to slingshot us out to here. And once we get out there, we can go ahead and finish our burn to get into the correct orbit. That one actually disappeared. Is that because we're not in the same sphere of influence? Yep, that's why. All right, so we're looking okay there. We may need to change our ascending node or descending node, whatever. Change the plane. So we can go ahead and fire prograde right there. This will bring us out, and yeah, that'll actually be nice. We have one relay antenna over here, and then we'll have one over here, and they can communicate back and forth. Eventually they'll be off, but at least for now, they're going to be able to communicate with anything around Kerbin, even if we can't see the Space Center directly. So almost there. We may have to wait one more time to get to the correct ascending or descending node to adjust that orbit. But let's see. One thing we're going to want to do right now is go radial or anti-radial to kind of shift this circle over to the left. So let's see. Is this the correct? What happened? Oh, you don't have a connection. Yeah, that makes sense. So I guess I was wrong. Let's see. Are you just out of range? Kerbin is in your way. Well, I guess we'll just wait a little bit. And then once we have a connection, yeah, that radial burn isn't going to work anymore. Maybe a little bit. We can go ahead and burn the opposite direction. We have plenty of fuel for this, so we don't really have to worry too much. Definitely not the right spot to be doing this. So radial was okay. Guess what we can do is just kind of fine tune. Well, there we go. We got in close enough orbit of what they were looking for. So maintain it for 10 seconds. And as soon as that's up, we're okay. Contract complete. Can go ahead, delete that. Go ahead and go to the map. Make sure that you are getting sunlight. And you are. I guess we can change this a little bit. Somewhere here. Yeah, 0.89. Good enough for me. And yeah, I guess that's it. So you, I thought, would have been able to directly communicate with that relay antenna, but maybe the signal isn't strong enough. Anyways, we did what we came out to do. We can go ahead and go to the Space Center, and we'll go ahead and make sure. Well, I mean, they will give us our money. We don't have to make sure that they give it to us. But we'll just see how much money we have. $537,000. We have both contracts complete, nothing in the active. And I believe it was it these two? Yeah, these two are the newest. So those are done. We're all good here. And I guess that's going to do it for today's episode. So if you liked today's episode, be sure to hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. Thank you all for joining me. I hope to see you all in the next episode.